the final time in 2018, we come to you from Chase Field in downtown Phoenix. Diamondbacks home finale. And what better way to close out our home schedule than with a series win over the Dodgers. It's time to beat LA one more time on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. The roof and outfield panels open behind us, and we are set to go. D-backs and Dodgers. Diamondbacks a chance to win the series in our final home game this year. And Bob, it's Zach Greinke's final start this season.
And you know Zach's fired up for this one. Not only is it the final home start for the Diamondbacks here at Chase Field this season, but facing his former team, the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know he'll be extra fired up. You see his numbers on this season. The 9th time he's gone over 30 starts in a season, the 8th time he's gone over 200 innings, and with 8 more strikeouts, he'll reach the 200 mark for the 7th time.
And maybe a chance to jam up the postseason hopes for one of his former teams. You know he'd like nothing more than to do that. He's up against LA's Ross Stripling, who has struggled after he was an all-star in midseason.
Yeah, he was 8-2 with a 2.08 ERA in the first half of the season, but has kind of stumbled toward the finish line here. Don't expect him to go too deep into the ballgame. They've really been limiting his pitches lately.
Great ball game last night. Let's do it once more. D-backs Dodgers on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By BJ's Restaurant and Brewhouse. Visit bjrestaurants.com to find a location near you. By the NASCAR Can-Am 500 at ISM Raceway, November 9th, 10th, and 11th. By the Hot Bike Tour. Visit hotbikeweb.com and join the ride. And by your Valley Honda dealer, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Bucks. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By First Watch, the Daytime Cafe. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The Card by Gila River Casinos. earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Oh, some home photos of our tremendous Fox Sports Arizona crew and D-backs employees as we are set to kiss off the 2018 home schedule. Zack Greinke up next. Fox Sports Arizona crew that has spent all year long working so hard to bring you Diamondbacks baseball. It's been a disappointing ending to a wonderful season. And there it is. We finish with a shot of everybody's favorite, the Moss Can. Breaking new television ground, our director, Brian Moss, as Zack Greinke takes the field. Roof and panels open. Welcome in. It's our last go-round at Chase Field this year. D-backs and Dodgers, Diamondbacks still with a chance to win this series, and wouldn't that be nice? Steve Berthew, Bob Brenly, Jody Jackson with you. D-backs have already clinched a season series win with the Dodgers. They lead this year's edition 10-8. And now a chance to conclude the home schedule with a series win against LA. Jock Peterson will lead it off for the Dodgers, hanging on to that NL West lead by only a half game over the Rockies. And here's their batting order. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Jock Peterson will be out in left field, tied for the all-time Dodger lead in leadoff home runs with 7. He'll be followed by Justin Turner, the Red Menace, down at third base. Max Muncy at first base. Manny Machado at shortstop. Cody Bellinger out in center field. Yasiel Puig will be in right. Yasmani Grandal doing the catching. Chris Taylor at second base, and Ross Stripling, the right-hander, on the mound.
And the pressure's already on LA. The Rockies lead the Phillies 1-0 in the fourth in Denver. Here in Phoenix, it's Zack Greinke, your Ram truck starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks. His 33rd and final start this year. A chance to finish with 15 wins, but he's lost his last 2 starts.
Yeah, his last 5, he's been pedestrian by Zack Greinke standards. You get the feeling he really wants to finish on a high note. I'm expecting the best Zack has here tonight.
And that's always fun to watch. E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the Diamondback defense.
The freight train, David Peralta in left field tonight. A.J. Pollock in center. Socrates Brito getting the start in right field. It'll be Eduardo Escobar, last night's hero, at third base. Nick Ahmed at short. Ketel Marte at second. Paul Goldschmidt at first. As usual, Jeff Mathis behind the plate for right-hander Zack Greinke.
Mark Rippiger, our plate umpire tonight, calling balls and strikes. Doug Eddings at first base. The crew chief, Joe West, presuming the cameras are okay. Joe, we can proceed. Okay, great, thanks. Marty Foster's at third. Time, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, for one last time in the 2018 season, beat LA.
I like the way that sounds. So here we go. D-backs and Dodgers, the rubber game of the 3-game set. A fastball misses away. It's 1-0. There it is. Beat LA. That was the theme last night of what turned out to be a tremendously exciting ball game with a great finish.
Very good game. Yeah, it was outstanding.
Peterson hitless in the series. He's in there at 249. Always a threat to take you deep. 24 home runs. He has walked twice and struck out 3 times in the series. Here's the slow curve. No, we didn't go, says Marty Foster. D-backs have yet to win consecutive games this month. They have their chance tonight. They are 6-17 in September. Well, we're going to start over. Dodgers 88 wins. Their division lead over Colorado, only a half game. LA and Colorado actually tied in the loss column. And the Rockies currently hold the second National League wild card spot, a half game ahead of St. Louis. Changeup misses away, and he's behind 3-1. Dave Roberts Ball Club off tomorrow. They head to San Francisco after this. They finish with 3 games against the Giants. Justin Turner on deck. D-backs off to San Diego after this ball game tonight. We finish off the season with 3 at Petco Park starting Friday. And there's the changeup. It's full 3-2.
You may recall in an earlier start this year against the Dodgers, they were very patient against Zach Greinke. They worked a lot of deep counts. They refused to chase those borderline pitches. They really made Zach work hard.
And he succeeds by getting you to chase those pitches that are just a little bit off the edge of the strike zone. That one is right there. Caught looking at a changeup. Peterson knew it. 1 down. And here is the Red Menace, Justin Turner. 318, 13 home runs. Turner has 3 hits in the series. He's doubled and walked. Just missed the corner with a fastball. Turner having a tremendous season, especially considering that he didn't play until May 15th. Remember, he had that left wrist fracture suffered in spring training. He was hit by a pitch and spent some time on the DL in July with a small groin problem. 1-1. But Turner's had a tremendous finish to the season. He's hitting .372 since the All-Star break. That is the highest batting average of the major leagues in the second half of the year. This is line to right. Brito's there. 2 down. Brings up Max Muncy. I talked about this last night, Bob, it seemed, with Matt Cook on the mound. Just to let's get a nice quick 1, 2, 3, 10, 12 pitch first. Muncy leads the Dodgers with those 33 homers. Statcast AI powered by AWS. There is the Max Muncy spray chart, and the defense lines up accordingly. Muncy 0 for 4 last night. He walked and struck out 3 times. But he had a big hit in Monday's series opener, that 7th inning single that tied the ball game at that point. What about Jeff Mathis, Bob? What's it like when you're back there and you think, you know, this might be the last time I catch this guy? Because Jeff, his contract is up at the end of the year. We don't know if he'll be back. Hopefully he will be, but anything can happen in the offseason.
I think, you know, knowing Jeff the way we do, I think that's something he'd think about maybe before the game or after the game, but not during the game.
Broken bat. What a stop. And they can't quite get the out. But boy, Nick Ahmed is at it again. It's a base hit regardless.
Whoa. What an amazing play. Even though they didn't get the out at first base. That's just unbelievable glove work. And we see it on a nightly basis.
Hopefully this season ends with a Gold Glove because he deserves it. He has been sensational. Manny Machado makes the slow walk up to the plate.
And normally I would say that's nice hustle, but it's false hustle because you're not going to get the out at first. But when Nick does that, you always think he's going to get the out. Even though he was sprawled out on his belly in shallow center field, threw from his knees. Most shortstops just let that one roll through, concede the base hit, not Nick.
All the numbers on Machado, 37 between Baltimore and LA. He has doubled twice and knocked in 2 runs in the series. His showdown with Yohan Lopez in the 8th inning last night. One of the highlights of the game. Lopez gave up the double, then struck out the last 2 in that inning, and those 2 squared off with each other in a sense. Greinke got the call there. Machado didn't like it. It's 1-1. Machado, after his double, was kind of gesturing, celebrating a bit, which is fine. And Lopez, when he got the strikeout to end that inning, did the same thing. Also fine. And it was a little bit of moment of passion, of fire, energy, grit. Something that's been lacking a little bit this month. A couple of 2-out singles bring up Bellinger. Now this was Machado led off the 8th inning against Yohan Lopez. First batter he faced, and he lined a double into left center. That was a big hit in the ball game. Tight game at that point. Machado trying to get his dugout fired up. Lopez ends the inning and looks right at Manny Machado and does the same thing, and that was the reaction from Machado. All right. You got Verdugo in a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Torrey loved that. He loved it. We saw that from Archie Bradley last year against these guys. And it's that element right there that you just saw. I think that's been missing here this year with this Diamondback ball club.
Well, there's definitely been a lack of energy in a lot of the ball games where you wouldn't expect there to be a lack of energy, but that was not the case with Lopez last night.
So here's Bellinger, 2 on and 2 out. Boy, Mark Ripperger is giving Greinke everything around the edges of the strike zone. Bellinger 259 and 24 homers. And the thing in talking with Torrey that he liked about that was that Machado did it first. Lopez kind of answered. Nobody crossed the line, and they moved on. And he was talking about Jose Lima. Remember Lima time? Lima was always dancing around out there when he was pitching, and Torrey once got a base hit off him. And he said he remembered I doubled off Lima, and Lima looked at me at second base, tipped his cap, and said, all right, nice job. You got me. And it was sort of in that same spirit, I think, that we saw everything last night.
Well, I guess the moral of the story is that you want to do what Manny Machado did, and that's fine. You just have to be willing to take it coming back the other way.
Yeah, and as long as you don't push it too far and turn it into a whole big confrontational thing, everybody seemed to be okay with it. Greinke ahead of ball in 2 strikes, trying to get out of this first. Bellinger, of course, the home run last night off Matt Cook in the 2nd inning. His 24th of the year. Puig would be next.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a nice quick first inning for Zach Greinke. He suddenly turned into 20 pitches after his next delivery to Cody Bellinger.
D-backs just can't quite get there for some reason. And that one is knocked into right center. They wave Muncy. He will score. Machado into third, and it's 1-0 Dodgers. 3 straight 2-out singles.
Looks like a changeup. It just didn't get out to the spot that time. He had consistently worked Bellinger away, but that changeup caught a little bit too much of the plate, and Bellinger, he has tremendous plate coverage from that left-handed batter's box. He can reach pitches off the plate away.
Well, just like last night, LA takes an early 1-0 lead. Greinke with some work to do. They're on the corners for Puig. Weekly to shortstop, and they get the force on Bellinger. Dodgers strike first. D-backs coming up. Ketel Marte will lead it off against your Ram Trucks. Starting pitcher for the Dodgers, the right-hander Ross Stripling, an all-star this year, pitching both in the rotation and the bullpen. Since the break, however, he has really struggled on and off the DL. He's lost his last 2 starts.
His last 3 starts, he's only gone 3 1/3 in each one of those. A couple times got up into the high 70s in pitch count.
So here's Marte, who's had a big series. He starts us off playing second base, batting in a leadoff spot today. Ketel, 254, 13 home runs. He has homered in 3 of his last 8 games. They're trying to get him from the left side to get his legs involved a little bit more. He's 100 points better as a right-hand batter than he is as a left-hand hitter. And talking to some of the coaches, they doesn't quite get the same leverage with his legs from the left side as he does from the right for whatever reason. And things have gotten a little off kilter. You see him crouch down there a little bit, trying to get some leverage. Makes a big cut of a changeup, and it's 1-2.
His right-handed swing looks so much more natural. You know, he takes a big stride at times, but he always keeps his hands back. I think that's why one of the reasons why he hits so well from the right side. He always has his hands back in a good load position, even if his weight shifts out to his front foot as a right-handed hitter.
Does have 5 homers as a left-hand batter. He's got good power from either side of the plate. Just the batting average has suffered as a left-hand batter this year, which is the complete opposite of the way he was last season. He was much better as a left-hand batter. Escobar, last night's walk-off hero, on deck. Rondal wanted it up. Stripling missed away, and it's full 3-2. Stripling has lost his last 2 starts, beaten by the Cardinals and the Padres, and he's pitched only 3 1/3, as Bob mentioned, in each of his last 3 outings. So he will not go deep into this ball game tonight. This is essentially a bullpen game for LA. Hit the corner. Mark Ripperger didn't give it to Stripling, and Marte has a walk to lead us off. Valley Chevy Dealers as the D-backs lineup.
Tel Marte leads it off with a walk. Eduardo Escobar making his way to the plate. He'll be at third base. David Peralta in left field. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Socrates Brito in right field tonight. A.J. Pollock out in center. Nick Ahmed at shortstop, with Jeff Mathis doing the catching for right-hander Zach Greinke.
Dodgers will shift on Escobar. 271 now, a career high 23 home runs. His homer last night, the walk-off winner. Look at where Justin Turner, the third baseman, is. He's almost on the right field line. Machado, the only defender on the left side of the infield. There's his strike.
And I was on a post-game show with Gracie last night, and we were talking about Escobar's game-winning hit. And you know, there's an old saying in this game: you can't, if you try to hit home runs, you can't hit home runs.
Well,
that's exactly what Eduardo Escobar was trying to do that entire at bat last night.
Yeah, Tom Candiani was agreeing on the radio side, said he took 2 chances at it, didn't hit a homer, and then finally hit the home run on the third. This was the walk-off winner off Kenta Maeda to lead off the ninth.
Skipping down that first baseline, no doubt about that one.
It was majestic. Changeup missed away. It's 1-1. So Escobar with a home run has now hit safely in 7 straight games. He's been hot lately. Rockies again hosting Philadelphia. Colorado leads 2-0 now. They're in the 5th inning. Rockies only a half game behind the Dodgers. NL West lead. They are even in the loss column right now. This thing's going to go right down to the wire. The Brewers are a half game back of the Cubs in the NL Central. Milwaukee winning again. It's 2-1 Brewers at St. Louis. They're in the 8th. And the Cubs at home against the Pirates, they lead 6-2. That one is hit into the shift. Turner, the third baseman, collects it, and then Taylor throws it away. Here's a look at the Dodger defense, brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Jock Peterson in left, Cody Bellinger in center, Yasiel Puig will be in right field. The infield is actually Justin Turner at third base, Manny Machado at short, Chris Taylor at second base, Max Muncy at first, with Yasmani Grandal doing the catching for right-hander Ross Stripling.
There's some confusion about Marte was standing on the third base bag. It looked for a minute like maybe they didn't get the out at second base, but he's gone now. So here's Peralta. You can't assume the double play, so there's no error. Escobar is at first, 1 out. David at 296 and 29 home runs. That was 5-4 on the put out at second. David last night had that enormous 2-out 2-run double that gave the D-backs a lead in the 6th inning.
Boy, last night was back and forth all night long. It was a very entertaining ball game.
Good changeup there from Stripling. 0-2. Ross Stripling's a Texas A&M Aggie. 5th round pick by the Dodgers back in 2012. Gig 'em. Slider gets his first strikeout. 2 down.
Not a lot of lateral movement on that slider. More of an off-speed pitch than anything else. Out over the plate, away from David Peralta.
There's Goldie at 291. He's got 33 home runs. Takes a page out of the Greinke playbook. A slow curve in there for a strike. Paul is hitless in the series. He just looks a little worn down right now. He's in a 1-for-18 slide at the plate. Energy level's been a little low. He looks like a guy who's at the end of a long season. A little late on that fastball, and it's 0-2. Lays off a curveball down and away. Ross Stripling opened the year in the bullpen. He was in the Dodger rotation by the end of April, and boy, he was outstanding there for a while. Stripling at the All-Star break was 8-2. His ERA was 2.08, but he has not won since. Had a foot problem at the end of July. It was on the DL, went back onto the DL with a lower back problem later in the year. And strikes out Goldie. 2 strikeouts for Stripling. It stays 1-0 LA.
Jody Jackson with you, and there's a lot of energy in the building here tonight. Last home game of 2018. I talked to David Peralta about it. He's got such a connection with these fans. You know, all the fans love the freight train, and one thing that he always does, guys, out in the outfield, tries to give a ball to a kid all the time, goes out there, interacts with the fans when he can between innings. He said, you know what, when I was a kid, if a professional ball player gave me a ball or threw the ball to me, you know, that would make my day. He said that's what he wants to do, and he knows that it's not exactly what the fans anticipated this month of September, but they're going to enjoy tonight for sure. And oh, by the way, I asked him about the 30 home runs. He said, I'm trying not to think about it, but fingers crossed.
Go up there and take some hacks.
Yeah, let it fly.
It worked for Escobar. Why not? Well, we got to lose. Greinke leads off the second.
David Peralta is one of those guys. He just gets it. He understands the effect that just handing a ball to that young man will have on his life. That may be the next David Peralta that he just gave that baseball to.
You don't ever forget when that happens. I still remember being at Tiger Stadium in Detroit, and Al Nipper threw me a baseball. I still have it.
Of course.
1-1 on the Dodger catcher. Probably get at least $3 for that thing right now.
Probably.
Grandal had 3 hits in last night's game. He tripled. Walked a couple of times Monday in the opener. Escobar with 2 strikes moves into the second base spot in the overshift, and Ahmed slides over to shortstop. Marte back on the outfield grass. That's belted down the line and fair. It's in the corner. Brito picks it up out there. Grandal a leadoff double.
That ball was smoked down into the right field corner. Looked like a slider that just dropped right down into Grandal's happy zone, and he rips it down into that right field corner for a leadoff double.
Grandal's had a big series, make it 4 hits now. A couple of extra base hits. He's in scoring position for Chris Taylor. Taylor at 254. He's got 17 home runs. Greinke gave up 3 consecutive 2-out singles in the first, and now a double starts the second. Behind on Taylor 1-0. Taylor has a pair of hits in the series. He doubled and knocked in a run last night. We had the double in the 9th off Brad Boxberger that tied the ball game at 3. Jammed him inside, tied him up with that fastball, and it's 1-1. Taylor leads the National League in strikeouts, just ahead of Goldie. He starts tonight with a 5-game hitting streak. There's a look at our tremendous work done by this Fox Sports Arizona crew. I hope the cameras are in the right spot. I don't want to upset Joe West. I know that's a sensitive subject.
Well, I'm sure all the cameras are right where they're supposed to be tonight.
Oh, good, then we won't have any problem.
Yeah, he'll find something else.
Well, if only your comment last night had attracted attention on the internet.
It did?
Well, maybe one or two clicks.
Okay.
Or 500,000, something like that. You clickbait, you. There's a fastball by him. Greinke gets his second strikeout.
For that out, for me, you can attribute straight to analytics. Chris Taylor trying to lift the ball in the air to left field the entire at bat. He's a big old hack trying to pull the ball on a 92-mile-an-hour heater away from him. A pitch that would have been very easy just to bump to the right side and move Grandal up to third base, but He's going to try to hit it in the seats.
And Stripling trickles one through the infield into center. They wave Grandal. The throw from AJ is not in time. Awfully close at the plate. Mark Ripperger says he got his foot in there.
Strong, accurate throw that time by AJ. All the way in the air to Jeff Mathis, who had the left leg out there trying to keep Grandal off the plate. You can see he's giving him a lane to slide to and then tries to take it away, but Grandal blows right through that left foot.
Torey Lovello turning to Jerry Nairn, who's on the phone with Alan Campbell, the video coordinator, and they want to challenge that. I'm not sure, because the foot was on Mathis's foot, that he actually touched the plate.
That's a very good point.
And this is when you get into that 1/1000th of a millisecond of a frame of a thing, and if you look at things long enough, you can convince yourself of anything. Does Grandal's foot touch the plate?
Oh, man.
Now you need to see, I think, the other angle to get a definitive idea of when exactly Mathis touched Grandal with the mitt.
When did the tag apply or occur?
Mark Ripperger was in perfect position to make the call. He was right there. This is what you get with replay. You just got to look at every little shoelace. And AJ checking out the DB TV board right now. Well, the Dodgers have got to win this game. The Rockies now lead the Phillies 5-0. They're in the 5th inning at Colorado. Now here's the other angle. Got him right on the rump. And it looked like when that tag was applied, Grandal's foot was on Mathis's foot and not the plate. They got a pretty good case right here.
Well, I mean, Grandal did what runners are taught to do when the catcher drops that foot back there to block home plate. You just try to blow it right out of the play, and that's what Grandal tried to do with that lead leg, but you could clearly see the foot popped up on top of Jeff's foot. I'm not so sure he came back down on the plate before the tag was applied.
Now these two cameras are synced up. When does Mathis apply the tag? Right there, and Grandal's foot is on Mathis's foot and not the plate. He is safe at home. Well, he made a pretty good case, but it's 2-0 Dodgers, and Stripling has the RBI single. LA already with 5 hits against Zach Greinke. He's only got 4 outs. Jock Peterson, he struck out looking to lead off the ball game. It's been a sketchy start for Zach Greinke, who looks for his 15th win. He has pitched pretty well over the second half of the year. His ERA prior to the All-Star break was 3.18. Since the break, it's 3.26, so just about exactly the same. But Zach is only 4-6 in the second half of the year. Lost his previous 2 starts. And in Greinke's last 10 starts, the D-backs have won only 3 times. Three 3-0 on Peterson. Turner on deck. Marte, nice pick. What a throw. Ahmed turns it. Just gorgeous. Ketel Marte got it started, and look how quick Nick Ahmed turns this one. But the Dodgers add a run. D-backs down 2. D-backs trail early here at Chase Field. Fans, now's the time. Lock in your 2019 season tickets. You'll get guaranteed seats to all the big matchups next year. The Red Sox will be here for the home opener. Yankees coming to town as well. So give us a call at 602-462-4600. Log on to dbacks.com. GM Mike Hazen is with us. We appreciate the time. It's not ending the way we hope, but how would you characterize 2018?
It's not ending the way we hoped. You know, I think for the majority of the season, we put ourselves in a pretty good spot relative to the playoff opportunity, but we just didn't execute down the stretch. There's a myriad of reasons for that. I think there was a team effort in that way. Yeah. I think there's a number of different areas that we would look at that we're probably all, and the players included, disappointed in with how that happened.
Such as?
Well, I mean, you lose 29 one-run games. I mean, it's easy to go back and hash through or spend countless hours of my day thinking back through games where we were a pitch away or an out away from taking a series as opposed to losing 2 out of 3, and that happened a number of times to us this year. And those inches that you lose on those days add up to ultimately what happens in September. So, when you go back into those in specific games, it's easy to look at the last guy that pitches in the bullpen in some cases. That's not the whole story. What's happened on the offense the entire game before that. I think the one group as a whole that I think stayed pretty true to itself was the starting rotation. Yeah. We got consistent starting pitching almost the whole year. But I think, there are a couple other areas where we just, as a group didn't pull it out.
Here's Socrates Brito. Mike, to what degree did the lack of offense put pressure on the bullpen?
Who knows, but I definitely think that's something that goes on a nightly basis. I think we were talking about it last night. It's somewhere in the vicinity of 140 of our games. We were tied up 1 or down 1. Down 1, tied, or had a lead, whatever that lead would be, in the 5th inning or later in 140 of our games. Yeah. And, you can score from that point forward, obviously, to create separation or pull the win out. Or in those cases that we had the lead, you can seal those leads up and win the game. So I really think that's what it boils down to. We need to figure out a way to win those games moving forward. We need to turn some of the things that I think we've done well this year into wins. What we do on the defensive side of the ball, what we've done with starting pitching, that's great in a lot of ways. Over 162 games, but we need to translate those into wins.
Mike, one thing that happened this year, and you've been around the game for a long time, I don't know if I've ever seen a team be as hot as the Diamondbacks were offensively in the month of April and as cold as they were in the month of May.
Brito heating up. It's gone. There you go. Socrates Brito. It's 2-1.
Certainly not what you're looking for, Mike, but when you do fall out of contention for the postseason, you get an opportunity to see guys like Socrates Brito a little more.
That's right. You know, to go back to your question, yeah, in April, I don't think the offense was necessarily clicking on all cylinders. We had won a lot of close games. AJ was playing out of his mind, but we weren't. I don't necessarily feel that the offense was clicking. And then in May, we had one of the worst months of all time, and then we led the National League in offense in June. And that inconsistency, I think, definitely plagued us, although at times it carried us as well. You're looking for consistency to go out and be able to win the division. You're looking for that consistency offensively, defensively, and with your pitching. And we just didn't get that all the time.
It seemed, Mike, you mentioned May. That's when Goldie was really struggling. But it seemed like as soon as he got going, everybody followed, and May kind of went away into the June that you talked about. To what extent do you think the ball club sort of follows what Goldie does?
A lot. He's clearly our best player. He's been our best player for a long time, and you know, you have a guy performing at that level in the middle of your lineup. It's gonna carry a lot of guys. I think, you know, he and David for the majority of the season were the ones that did a lot of the heavy lifting in the middle of the lineup, and you know, but it's a lot. Baseball's not built around one hitter,
right.
and it's impossible to carry an offense with 1 or 2 hitters. It needs to be 8 hitters. And Zach Greinke.
AJ off the top of the wall. AJ just missed a home run. It rolls back toward left, and he's in at third with a triple. You might have to stay here the rest of the game. No problem.
Jumpstart that offense. Solo homer by Brito. AJ narrowly misses a home run with that drive to left field. Jock Peterson got a little too close to the wall that time. The ball ricocheted right past him, and AJ never broke stride. Ends up at third base.
Mike, did you think that Nick Ahmed was capable of the type of offensive season that we've seen from Nick this year?
Yeah, there's a group that's been here with this organization. I'll bring up Tony La Russa in the past, that when we got here always said that this guy was going to hit. And with the added at-bats this year, staying healthy, he's certainly shown that he can do that. And the power has been fantastic, and hopefully, you know, he keeps building on this. This is certainly his best year, start to finish as a big leaguer, and you know, he's still in the prime of his career, and everybody sees on a nightly basis what he does defensively. It's absurd.
And I think you hit on the right word, which was health. 2 years ago, he had the hip problem, played half a season. Last year, the broken hand, then the broken wrist.
Right.
So this is really, I think, Bob, the first time in 2 years we've seen a healthy Nick Ahmed, as Mike said, for a full season. And that one will get into right center. We're tied at 2. Ahmed digging for second, and he is in there with an RBI double. You know, the next guy hits a single, you've just hit for the cycle.
Nice. Take it. Greinke's going to hit a dinger.
I like the way you think. Waited nicely on that big loopy breaking ball and just shot it through that right side of the infield. Good hustle double right there by Nick, getting himself into scoring position. Yeah, you can do a lot of different things with Zach Greinke in this particular spot. I would assume you like to see him swing away since you already called the homer.
Always.
Boy, Nick Ahmed, 16 homers. That's 69 RBIs, 33 doubles. He's hitting, you know, right around 240. That's a tremendous season for him, and he's been the best defensive shortstop in the major leagues. Mathis now. A homer, a triple, and a double have opened up the D-back second against Ross Stripling. There's a look from Moss Cam. I know the baseball ops guys hate that thing, don't they?
It's really hard to see with the pitches.
You're not the only one, the fan. We try to mix it up visually.
We fixate on the strike zone, right? We complain about every pitch, one way or the other. So we need that little box to tell us. So I got to go to ask the guys that are watching it from on the data side, you know, is that a strike or not?
I would send all comments and complaints to Brian Moss, who's in the truck. Did you think that as we head into October here, Mike, that the American League would be as far apart from the National League as it seems to be? The top heavy teams in each league, there seems to be a big gap between the best in the AL and the best in the NL.
It started last year, and I think if you look at really who the teams are that are in rebuilding mode, a large majority of those that are sort of in the very beginnings of it are more in the American League. Like I said before,
this is a little tapper for Turner at third. Ahmed gets into third.
Nice.
The first out.
Swing the bat. I think in the National League, it's the landscape is shifting. The Phillies, the Braves, the Brewers, some of those teams have come out of rebuilds and now have young group together.
Yeah.
The Pirates seem to be loading back up for next year. You know, there's very few teams that are in true rebuilding mode, whereas in the American League it's far different. So it doesn't surprise me. You know, the quality and the depth of those teams, it's still tough to put a team together that's going to win 100. Two teams in one division win 100 games each.
He's got a home run swing.
Yeah. Little soon, Zach.
Now, at what plan, Mike, do you look at what point, I should say, do you look at the offseason and go, okay, what do we need to do short term? What do we need to do long term? Because I think you've got questions to answer on both sides.
Yeah. We know what we need to do long term. That's never changed. We need to build a talent infrastructure through the draft, international developments, trades that is going to bring another core up that's young and dynamic and has the talent, if we develop it properly, to compete for a World Series year in and year out. We know that's the long-term goal. You know, the short-term goal, we're going to sit in a room and sort of figure out how our pieces continue to fit together. Obviously, for the last couple of years, we're trying to put the puzzle together as best we can, trying to mix and match those types of things. We'll see what that plan is going to be going into next year. We feel good about the team, though. You know, if you get Lamb back, Souza rebounds next year. You get Taijuan Walker back. Those are three guys that you would expect to bounce back. You still have some young starting pitchers that have done very well. Robbie Ray's obviously an elite starting pitcher. You got Cookie that's pitched really well. Godley's had a good year, and then the bullpen is, it's a mix of young and old, and we'll probably add a lot to the bullpen like we typically do. But the middle infield is.
There it is. It kicks off the mound into center, and Greinke makes it 3-2 Diamondbacks.
That guy can hit.
Each pitcher has an RBI single tonight. That's 4 base hits in the inning. Still only 1 out for Stripling.
Well, what an amazing athlete. He just has great hand-eye coordination, gets the barrel on the ball, just about as good as any hitter in the lineup.
In a span of 5 batters in this inning, the Diamondbacks have hit for the cycle.
How about that? Nice. And Mike, you were talking about the bullpen, and we had a real good chance to get a look at Yohan Lopez again last night.
Yeah.
You've got to be very impressed yourself, even though you know him very well after that start, where he has come to after last night's ball game.
Well, you know that. I mean, you've broken a lot of young relievers. You go back to that debut. I mean, that's not an easy one to walk into the clubhouse for. There was a lot of loud contact that day.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think he recorded an out. And then to see him go into Colorado, I think the best thing that happened was Torrey, in the next night when we got blown out, Torrey brought him in for the last out of the game, of the 8th, obviously, and gave him that opportunity to just get back on the mound, record an out. There was no consequence to the game. And then from there, it's sort of starting to build into what you saw last night, where we've talked about increasing his role leverage-wise. I'm sure at some point Torrey's going to let him try to close a game as well, just to give him the feel of all of those different things, experiences that we're watching and that he can feel going into next year.
That one gets through off the bat of Marte, and we'll keep going. You mentioned that, Mike. That to me was the most encouraging thing, that Torrey puts Lopez into a game. 3-2 eighth inning a game here against the Dodgers. That's another step or two up for him.
Agree. I think it's a huge step up. I think he had been pitching in basically negative situations up until that point even. I think the closest one, I think we were down 2-0 in one of the games, but all negative situations, and to get thrust into the eighth inning against that part of the lineup, I mean, with a team that's trying to fend off the Rockies that score 10 runs every night. So it's, there's a lot to play for, and thought he did a heck of a job. He throws, I think watching him compose himself enough after the Machado double, makes a bad pitch on the 2-1 pitch, to just come back in and pound the strike zone. I think for a young reliever, that's a good sign. It's a good sign that he's consistently going after the strike zone and not pitching to chase all the time, where big league hitters aren't going to consistently chase.
Now, we talked about this earlier, and there was the end where he got the strike out of Verdugo, looked back at Machado, looked him right in the eye, and sort of gave it a little bit back to him. That was some fire, some passion that I don't think we've seen a whole lot of the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, we talked to Yohan today. I don't think he was specifically looking at Machado when he did that. I think he just was kind of turning around, and I think a lot of these guys like to look up at the board and see what the velocity was in their pitch.
Were you okay with that?
Yes, because it's emotion in a huge moment in the game. I have, as long as you're not looking to show somebody up, I don't see what's wrong with having. I mean, for that guy to come through in that situation, to not feel that emotion, don't we ask that of our players and want that of our players, that the game means something every night? And that clearly showed last night how much that meant to him.
Boy, and I mean, we throw the term around an awful lot. The guy has electric stuff, but I don't think there's any other way to describe what we saw from Lopez last night. He was just rearing back and blowing big league fastballs by big league hitters.
He gets up against Verdugo in 3 pitches, 97, 98, 99. See it.
Yeah. It's like that scene in Major League. He just keeps throwing harder and harder and harder.
Give him the heater, Ricky.
So there you go.
Escobar drives it to right. Puig is there. And here comes Greinke, who digs for third. Marte moves up as well. D-backs hustling on the bases. Do you recall seeing a pitcher of Zach Greinke's caliber, who is also just the all-around baseball player that he is, tagging up like that, second to third?
I don't think so. We've talked about what would happen if we made Zach Greinke a position player.
Like Shohei Ohtani, or
just
maybe
Madison
Bumgarner.
Probably pick a spot on the field where you think he could play. Make him a position player. What would he hit for a full season? I bet he'd be a pretty good major league position player too.
Any idea where you'd put him?
I know he came up as a shortstop when he was a young kid in high school, so I don't know if he quite has the wheels to do that anymore. But
maybe if we get into a long extra inning game at some point next year, that's another player on the bench for Torrey. Here's Peralta. A lot was made when you were hired here. You and Torrey go back a long way, both coming from Boston. How has your relationship with the manager evolved over these 2 years?
I think we always had a strong business relationship in the past, that we knew quite a bit about each other. I think going through what we've gone through in the last 2 years, specifically this year, the ups and downs this year in September, I think it's even better now in terms of our ability to communicate with each other and have tough conversations with each other. Beyond that we have a close relationship, I think that also breeds a lot of contentious conversations that we have, and we do, and we have those on a nightly or daily basis, but then we walk out of there and we leave it there. But it allows us to sort of cut to the chase in a lot of different ways in terms of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to get it done, and what people's ideas may be on getting there. I think that free flow of communication is important, where there's no barriers, worried about hurting the other person's feelings. I think it's important for that relationship to exist, given the amount of time we spend together, given how emotional this game is, you know, behind the scenes and on the field, every win, every loss, every game means something, needs to mean something. Going for a World Series is one of the hardest things that you can do. And so that's really how it's evolved in a lot of ways.
1-2 on Peralta. Chance to drive in 2 more here. And Stripling tried to throw that curveball in and missed. It's 2-2. Because you know where each other is coming from, right? It's the same motivation and there's no personality problem.
That's right. It's the openness to the communication. Look, there are different situations. I'm sure, you know, Bren's been in the past too, where maybe if that doesn't exist and you don't say everything you want to say or be as honest as you want to be or hold an evaluation back on something that you want to talk about, if you're going to hurt the other person. Like if he wants to tell me somebody that I have acquired that, you know, isn't performing the way he needs to, that is what it is. You know, we need to talk about that. It can't be, well, I don't want to bring that up to him because he's going to be too sensitive about it,
right?
Because, you know, he's going to feel like I'm criticizing a player that he acquired. Those types of discussions, when we need to have honest discussions about playing time, about roles, about what the team needs going into July, those types of things.
Well, here's a big pitch, 2 on, 2 out, 3-2 to Peralta. David struck out his first time. Mike Hazen's been a good luck charm. He's brought us 3 runs so far. Here it is on 3-2. Do you get any downtime once Sunday arrives, or do you just dive right in?
No, we got to dive right back in. You know, everything really kicks off in November. The only downside to being in the playoffs is you have to do both things.
Yeah,
prepare for the next season while you're in the playoffs. We unfortunately won't have that now, but we're going to dive right back into. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to figure out where we need to go to get us to the next level, and we'll start on that right away.
There it is. He missed away, so 9 batters come up to plate in the Diamondbacks' second inning, and Goldie is number 9 with the bases full. A 30-pitch inning for Stripling. Bullpen starting to stir on the LA side. Goldie struck out his first time up. Here comes Dave Roberts, and he has seen enough. Hey, you've been really generous with your time. We'll let you go. I really appreciate it. Best of luck this winter.
Okay, guys.
Mike Hazen, D-backs GM. We'll be back right after this. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Germán Marquez is pitching a tremendous game for the Rockies. 1 strikeout after another. And he's getting all kinds of run support. It's 9-0 Colorado. They're in the 6th inning. And they're only a half game behind these Dodgers for the NL West lead. Colorado could be leading the division by the end of play tonight.
Germán Marquez tied a modern record since 1900. He struck out the first 8 batters of the game tonight.
Wow. our Sun State postseason update. So the Brewers and Cubs have both clinched a playoff spot, at least a wild card. The National League Central very much up for grabs. Colorado a half game behind the Dodgers for the division lead. The Brewers beat St. Louis 2-1, so the Cardinals are now out of the division race, and they're a full game back in the wild card. In the meantime, here's Pedro Baez on to face Paul Goldschmidt. Bases full of D-backs, 2 outs, 3 runs already in. Goldie struck out his first time up tonight. Thanks again to D-backs GM Mike Hazen for giving us so much time and answering all our questions.
Well, he was rolling.
He was.
Can't leave the booth when you're hitting.
D-backs in a span of 5 batters, the first 5 batters in this inning, hit for the cycle. Chased a high fastball. Goldie 1 for his last 19 at the plate. Down 0-2. Greinke's at third, Marte's at second, Peralta's at first. Couple of fastballs that went to the changeup. Goldie still looking for his first base hit in the series. Now would be a good time. Fastball inside, got him. Baez comes in, leaves them loaded, but the D-backs take a 3-2 lead. Dodgers 3-2. Don't forget you can play along in our D-backs 50-50 charity raffle. presented by the Arizona Lottery from home, and this is your last chance, the home finale tonight. Get your tickets online, dbacks.com/50/50 raffle, and the winning number is revealed on the postgame show. This is it, the last chance to play the 50/50, and the jackpot is already approaching $15,000, half of that, and it'll be a lot bigger total by the time we get to the end of the game. Could be yours. Justin Turner leads it off. Again, Zach Greinke, who now has a 3-2 lead. Well, I got to give it up to your boy Craig Counsell. He's got the Brewers in the postseason for the first time since 2011. Another win for Milwaukee and a huge series for them at St. Louis. They won tonight 2-1, and so the Brewers are in. They've clinched at least a wild card. And they're breathing down the Cubs next for that NL Central lead. Chicago hosting the Pirates, and the Cubs have a 6-2 lead.
Yeah, a shot on one of the monitors of the Brewers celebrating in the clubhouse, clinching a postseason berth. They're not quite sure whether it be the wild card team or the National League Central winner, but celebrating tonight in the Lou.
Make sure you'd send them a text. Slow curve, just missed away. That's the Brenly managerial tree. It's just more of your branches spreading out, your tentacles.
I got nothing to do with it.
You got Mel, who got Oakland somehow to win 95 games, which is amazing. You got Counsell, he's got the Brewers in the playoffs for the first time in 7 years. I think you need to take a bow.
Oh, they've done it all on their own. Those guys were managerial material before I was. Well, Counsell's done an amazing job up there in Milwaukee. I mean, you know, you got to tip your cap to the organization. They decided, hey, we're going to go for it. We're going to make some moves. We're going to bring some players in here. We're going to make a run for it, and they absolutely have.
Well, they made that big trade for Yelich. He might wind up with a league MVP award as Turner leads off the third with a single. That's 6 hits against Greinke in just over 2 innings. He has not been especially sharp tonight. Muncy singled his first time up. Well, let's not leave out also the Red Sox, who've been running away from the American League, led by their bullpen catcher, Michael Brenly.
Yeah, they had a long day at the old ballpark today. A split doubleheader against the Baltimore Orioles. The first game was just an absolute blowout.
I was watching that. What was it, like 20-3 or something?
19-3 or something like that. But Baltimore's returning the favor in the nightcap. It's the top of the ninth. The Orioles lead the Red Sox 9-3.
Yeah, Baltimore had position players pitching by the end of that game. Muncy takes a big cut at a changeup, 1-1.
And the Red Sox finish this weekend with a big series against the Yankees. Not quite as big as it once appeared to be, but it's always big anytime the Red Sox and Yankees hook up.
Yankees will start getting ready for the Oakland A's in that wild card game. Fastball in, a little too far for Mark Ripperger. He was getting that call on the first.
I don't know if you noticed it there when Zach lifted his right arm up in the air. He's got a big old strawberry on his right forearm from sliding headfirst into third base.
He probably hasn't noticed, to be honest with you. It would be fun to have a game, as Mike Hazen mentioned, where Greinke's the shortstop. He might do all right.
You know, I was thinking when we were talking about that, John Smoltz was a guy, when he came up to the major leagues, they said, this guy, we don't know whether we want him to pitch or play outfield. He was that good of a batter, a base runner, an athlete. I go back to my playing days, Donnie Robinson. I've talked about him before. Great pitcher with the Pirates and the Giants, but they were undecided whether to use him as a position player or a pitcher, to the point where they sent him to instructional league in the offseason to swing the bat and play center field.
I ain't gonna throw nothing else.
Ain't throwing nothing else.
2-2 on Muncy. That's belted just beyond the reach of Marte into right field. 2 singles. Start off the LA third. That's now 7 hits against Zach Greinke. And here comes Machado. Muncy's 2 for 2. Machado singled back in the first. Did you see who had the walk-off hit for the Giants last night? Madison Bumgarner.
Really?
And there was talk that if the Giants decide to blow it up and rebuild and they just fire their GM, maybe they decide, okay, it's time to trade Mad Bum. You could trade him to an American League team and he could become like a Shohei Ohtani and pitch and play a position or DH.
Fix the team bus, whatever you need him to do.
All right, then. 2-all, nobody out for Machado. Slider is low. Greinke has struggled since the get-go here tonight. Dodgers put together 3 consecutive 2-out singles in the first to take a 1-0 lead. Rondal doubled to start the second. Ross Stripling, the pitcher, singled him home, and now a pair of singles start the LA third. This is launched high in the air, deep to left field. Peralta's at the wall. He's got it in the corner. Turner tags up. Muncy as well. A loud out for Machado. The runners move up. Boy, if he'd hit that out, it might have taken him a minute and a half to run around the bases.
It's pretty alert base running by both Turner and Muncy. That long fly ball hanging in the air forever chased David all the way back to the wall in left, and both Dodger runners able to tag and advance 90 feet.
The danger is Cody Bellinger. And the RBI single in the first that opened up the scoring. Second, third, 1 out. Fastballs, a strike 0-1. Bellinger has been a better hitter this season away from Dodger Stadium. He's .220 in LA. .297 on the road. You get him out of Dodger Stadium, the numbers go way up. He's got more home runs away from LA than he does at home. He homered here in the second inning last night. Fastball's low. Bellinger has been a much better hitter over the second half of the year. He came up off that Rookie of the Year award last year. He was trying to hit a home run every time up in the first half of the year. He's calmed down a lot since the All-Star break. Dave Roberts likes to refer to that as chasing the slug. And he's calmed down. There he is with his bench coach Bob Garrett. Bellinger having much better at bats as illustrated here. And he's ahead 3-1. Puig on deck.
They're going to go ahead and put him on and take their chances with Puig with the bases loaded and 1 out.
First walk for Greinke. Oh, with Puig, you've got a good chance to get the double play ball. He hits the ball on the ground a lot. And Greinke could really use that right here.
Well, Puig leads the Dodgers this year, grounding into 15 double plays.
He hit into a 6-4-3 in the fourth inning last night. And he grounded out to shortstop his first time up in this one. Turner's at third, Muncy's at second, and Bellinger is the runner at first. Puig 1 for 7 in the series. He singled on Monday. Starts him off with a curveball. The eephus at 66.
Yeah, Dodgers so far in the first 2 games of this series 0 for 4 with the bases loaded.
Looking up at that scoreboard, they see the Rockies leading Philadelphia 9-0. They're in the 7th in Denver. Those two teams tied in the loss column. Right at Nick Ahmed. Boy, Puig hit it right on the button. But Nick was in the right spot. 2 down.
Boy, not only does he make a nice tumbling catch on this rocket hit up the middle, he immediately is up to his feet looking to see if there was somebody to double off. Check second, check third. Boy, kept that one out of center field. That was going to be an easy 2 runs for the Dodgers right there. Nice play.
Grandal doubled and scored to lead off the second. Bases full, 2 down. Marte backs up well on the outfield grass at second. Ahmed right behind the bag at short. Uncharacteristic to see Zach fall behind in the count as often as he has tonight. That seems to be part of the problem.
I think part of that is the Dodgers' approach against Zach Greinke. Once again, we talked about that start earlier this year where they just waited him out. It seemed like every Dodger hitter would take until they had at least 1 strike.
Good changeup. Ryan Madson, the veteran, starts to get loose in the LA bullpen. Taylor is on deck, pitcher spot behind him. Try to change again. Grandal spits on it. 2-1. Left hand side is where he's most dangerous. As Monty Grandal, 24 homers, 20 of them as a left hand batter. Marte, the shift is on, and Greinke leaves him loaded. It stays 3-2. Sandlot, our final home game at Chase Field in 2018. And the D-backs are beating the Dodgers again. It's 3-2 as we start the bottom of the third. Valley Toyota Dealers presents Let's Go Places. After this ball game, we're on an airplane, day off in San Diego tomorrow, and then the final series of the year, 3 at Petco Park against the Padres, starts on Friday. That'll be Patrick Corbin, Zach Godley, and Robbie Ray. And then that's it for 2018. Brito led off the second with a home run. That was against Ross Stripling. He starts off the third now against Pedro Baez. So Socrates with that home run, 4 for 14 since he was called up from Reno with expanded rosters in September. He's only had 32 plate appearances with the Diamondbacks all year, but put up a nice season at Reno. .320, hit 17 homers. Hello. I'm going to say that was not a strike. Baez spiked it into the grass. 2-1 on Socrates Brito.
It's been a strike all night. That didn't even clear the mound, did it?
No, it didn't even make the grass. Well, tried the corner and missed.
Yeah, fortunately, he's all right. You know, that you stumble, you catch a cleat, something happens out there on the mound, and it happens occasionally.
No, we didn't. Marty Foster down there. 3-1 on Socrates Brito. AJ tripled his first time up tonight. He's on deck. Brito's homer kicked off a big Diamondbacks second inning. They scored 3, down 2-0. And Baez bounces back, gets him on that changeup. It's full 3-2. This was Brito. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool play of the game off starter Ross Stripling.
Boy, that pitch down and into a left-handed hitter. Not only Socrates Brito, just about every lefty on the planet loves that ball down and in. Just drop the bat head, get some backspin, and ride it out of here.
There it is on 3-2. He missed inside at 97. Brito a home run and a walk. He starts off the third for AJ, who tripled and scored his first time up. AJ's triple was his 5th of the year. The 20 home runs have matched a career high, so he could set a new one if he homers over these final 3+ games.
He didn't miss number 21 by much back there in that second inning. Ball hit about 3/4 of the way up the wall out there in left field.
And this one is out to center. Bellinger is there, drifting over to right center field. And that's the first out. Well, that inning in the second started off with a Brito homer, a Pollock triple, a Nick Ahmed hustle double. Nick's 33rd double of the year, and here he is with 1 out. Rockies are handing it to the Philadelphia Phillies again. They're up 10-0 in the 8th inning. So the Dodgers have seen that score several times by now. They know they're not getting any help from the Phils.
Well, you think the Rockies are glad to have Trevor Story back. He tripled and homered so far in the ball game again tonight.
Like he never missed a beat, huh?
Ian Desmond with number 21 in that game. David Dahl with number 13, and Trevor Story number 34.
Boy, Dahl's hit a bunch lately. Nick went around on the swing. Mark Ripperger caught the tail end of that, it looked like.
Fastball running up and in, just catches a piece of the bat and then off the mask of Mark Ripperger behind the plate.
And Joe West to give his colleague some help. Joe comes in from second, checks with Baez, slow walk back to his position to give Ripperger some time to recalculate and to take a look at the cameras probably too. .68 RBIs while playing shortstop, most in Diamondback history. Nick had that RBI double in the second, broke Stephen Drew's record set 10 years ago. Well, Tapper to short, Machado charges. They get 1 and 2. They're through 3. D-backs lead at 3-2.
These final 4 games, particularly this last one at home, but also looking ahead to next year. Troy Lavello talking about some exit interviews already going on with some players like Jake Lamb and Taijuan Walker about attacking next year and getting ready to come back and be healthy. And one guy, though, that we might see, guys, he's left the door open for Shelby Miller to potentially pitch in San Diego. I'm sure Shelby would love that, guys, the opportunity to show that he's healthy, even if it's getting 1 out. You know, he's been through a lot. He's been through a long rehab. He came back and it didn't go well. He needed a little more rest for that arm, but something to watch out for. And great conversation with Mike Hazen, guys. I think a lot of really insightful things that can go a long way toward next year.
Yeah, Jody, I think you really feel good about the overall big picture direction of where this franchise is headed with Mike and his group here. I mean, you know that these decisions are very, very well thought out, analyzed, and things are headed where they need to go, which is a really good feeling. Even though we're disappointed at how it ended this year, there are certain things you can control, and you can make all the excuses you want, but Mike's not going to do that, and neither is Torrey. Well, we could play the injury card. They didn't get Shelby back like they thought they would, and hopefully he does pitch in San Diego. You lose Taijuan Walker for the year. Souza missed half the season. Lamb's missed virtually the entire year. There's a pretty long list, but you never hear that from Mike or from Torrey. As Greinke gets the strikeout to start the fourth.
Yeah, Pollock missed a big segment of the first half of the season with that broken thumb. There were a litany of injuries that the Diamondbacks played well right through them. Guys that were plugged in to take the place did a great job, most notably Clay Buchholz before his injury.
Well, Utley will hit for Baez now. So this will be Chase Utley's final at bat at Chase Field. He is retiring at the end of the year. .215 and a homer. He walked and scored Monday. Flied out as a pinch hitter last night. Greinke 60 pitches, only 36 strikes. He has struck out 3. He's issued 1 intentional walk. Zach began tonight 7 strikeouts shy of 200 for the year. He's punched out 3 so far. It would be his 7th career 200 strikeout season. Changeup. Utley doesn't bite. It's 2-1. It would also be the 6th time in Greinke's career he's had at least 200 innings and 200 strikeouts in the same season. Fastball missed away. Utley's ahead 3-1. You've got Peterson, the leadoff man, on deck. Only loses Utley a 1-out walk. Second base on balls issued by Greinke. Here comes Peterson, who was struck out and hit into a double play. Peterson still hitless in the series. He's punched out 4 times. He's always been a guy that strikes out a lot. Tapper to first. Goldie will take the sure out. Utley moves up 2 down.
Well, obviously Zach Greinke doesn't do it very often, putting guys on base via the base on balls, and that's something you definitely want to avoid against this Dodgers ball club. 227 home runs this season, leading the National League. A full 100 more homers than the Miami Marlins.
Wow. Well, here's Turner. 4 hits in the series. He singled last time up. Josh Fields, the right-hander in the Dodger bullpen. They've already hit for Baez. Greinke wants a word with Mathis. It's a big out for Zach right here. You got the tying run down there at second, and their best hitter at the plate. Looks like he wants to maybe change the plan of attack for Turner based on what he's got working for him tonight. There's always the plan going into the game and then the adjusted plan after the first or second inning when you see what Greinke's got working and what he's not got working.
And what is the opposing team doing at the plate? Are they being aggressive, swinging at early pitches? Are they being patient, trying to run up a pitch count on Zach? Everything changes as the game progresses.
So here we go. Utley at second, 2 outs. Utley's getting a big secondary lead down there. Marte and Ahmed are spread out up the middle. Nobody even in the picture. Spins him around with a fastball in. It's 1-1. Turner now with a 6-game hit streak. He's hit safely in 13 of 14. One and two. Well, Greinke got out of a big 1-out bases loaded mess in the third. Puig lined out to short. Grandal grounded out. He left them loaded and kept it a 3-2 lead. Now trying to avoid trouble in the fourth. For the Dodgers, you mentioned the patience. They are not biting on that changeup. Muncy would be next. He's 2 for 2.
You see Utley out there at second base taking his lead, just staring in at Jeff Mathis signs. Even if he's not getting anything, it makes you a little paranoid, a little more concerned as a pitcher and a catcher. Boy, just look at him. I mean, that is fixated on those signs.
That's a veteran set of eyes, too. He knows what he's looking for. Out in front of the eephus. Chris Woodward has it at third. Get it going. Beat LA was the big chant here last night. Really fun game last night. D-backs won at 4-3 and a chance to end the home schedule in 2018 with a series win over these Dodgers. D-backs, last time they won a series, they took both games of a 2-game set from the Angels here. That was August 22nd. Since then, they've lost 22 of 31. Greinke and Mathis need to get together again. So the second mound visit in this at bat. Mark Rippiger records that in his notebook. Zach at 70 pitches, 40 strikes.
It's another thing I'm paranoid about. During that little break there, Jeff Mathis went out to talk to Greinke, and George Lombard, the first base coach, went in to talk to Dave Roberts. Now, what possible reason could there be for a first base coach to go in and talk to the manager other than, hey, I'm getting a peek at his signs?
Good point. Hey, there is the changeup. He got him. Greinke strands the runner and keeps it 3-2. Dodgers 3-2. Did you know you can take home a piece of Diamondbacks history? Yes, D-Backs Authentics offers you a wide array of game-used items directly from the clubhouse. For more information and to bid now, dbacks.com/auction. You have borrowed a couple of items.
Yeah, this is actually a Paul Goldschmidt helmet from throwback day when we had the old-fashioned D-Snake and an A.J. Pollock helmet with the A logo on it. Both have the certificate of authenticity on the back. Their numbers on the back of the helmet. Game used.
You can get helmets and hats and jerseys, bats and balls, bases, everything, all from games. And as Bob mentioned, importantly, all authenticated by Major League Baseball. As you always say, Christmas is coming. That's a tremendously cool gift. dbacks.com/auction is where you can check out everything that you can bid on. Josh Fields is on to start the bottom of the 4th inning. Fields was out for a long time this year with right shoulder inflammation. He missed most of the summer. Just came back earlier this month.
You know, partner, occasionally we see a hitter go to the plate and they have that alfalfa look. You know, there's a little bit of hair sticking up through these vents in the top of the helmet. Every now and then a guy will put the helmet on and adjust it a little bit, and a little bit of hair will pop through one of those slits right there. That's the alfalfa look.
I live with that all the time anyway, even without the helmet. Yeah. Got the cowlick. You seem to have solved that issue for yourself.
Yeah, I just decided to get rid of it.
It's just more aerodynamic is all. Nice, clean, tight look. 2-2 on Mathis. Greinke on deck. Now that's an alfalfa right there. I've always thought if you, in particular about the helmets, if you have a home office, you know, if you're a D-back fan, everybody, we all have offices at home where you write out your bills or whatever. That would look really cool in an office somewhere in your house.
Well, no, 2 we had up here in the booth. One, the red one was Goldie's, the black one was A.J. Pollock's, and A.J.'s looks like it had been thrown back in the helmet rack a couple of times.
Or thrown at the helmet rack. Popped it straight up. Turner has got it in fair territory. 1 out. Beat LA. That's the motto here this week. They did it last night with a walk-off homer, a chance to win the series. Zach Greinke is the hitter. He had an RBI single in that 3-run D-back second.
Rockies have pushed their lead over the Phillies to 14-0. They've outscored the Phillies 34-4 so far in that series.
I'm not sure Gabe Kapler has an analytic for that. Rockies currently holding the 2nd National League wild card spot ahead of St. Louis. The Cardinals lost at home to the Brewers again. That one is caught by Pollock. So if both of these scores hold, the Rocky game and the Diamondback game, Colorado will lead the National League West by a half game over these Dodgers.
Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at those participating locations.
Another good game. Good night for Ketel Marte. He's walked in the single. There it is, 14-0. They're in the 9th inning at Coors. Boy, the Rockies have got it rolling at just the right time. Colorado finishing the season at home. 1 more against the Phillies tomorrow. Then they get the Washington Nationals for 3. And I believe Scherzer, once he got that 300th strikeout, has tapped out for the season. So they won't have to deal with Max Scherzer. So that'll help Colorado. LA off tomorrow. They go to San Francisco. Finish up the year with 3 at the Giants starting on Friday. Right now, Rockies and Dodgers tied in the loss column. Center field for Bellinger. Field works a 1-2-3 fourth. D-backs have a 3-2 lead.
Another hotly contested ball game here at Chase Field tonight. We head to the top of the fifth. D-backs lead it by 1, 3-2 over the Dodgers. Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Greinke. We go back to 1926. St. Louis Browns beat the Yankees 6-1 and 6-2. The whole doubleheader took 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Well, I think you may have selected that one personally.
Wow.
Max Muncy leads off the LA fifth against Zach Greinke. Muncy has singled twice, 2 for 2.
First game was 1 hour and 12 minutes, and they said that's just way too long. The second game, 55 minutes.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. You know, back in the day, they used to talk about, well, we got to catch a train. And if you don't catch the train, you don't make it to the city in time for the next ball game. So maybe that was it.
Maybe we should start traveling by train.
Well, and that was before batting gloves. I think that single-handedly slows the game down.
Oh, that eephus hung up there. Belt high hop for Nick Ahmed, who had to jump up to get that one. They retire Muncy for the first time tonight.
Oof. Zach Greinke can't get it. It was hit hard. Whistled over his head up the middle of the field, but Nick Ahmed right there to make the play, take a base hit away.
There's Machado. He has singled and flied out. So his hit streak is now up to 6 games. He's homered twice during that streak. Got 37 on the year. Going to be interesting to see where Manny Machado winds up. Maybe Philadelphia, maybe the Yankees, maybe he stays in LA. Seems to be more of an East Coast guy, though, from Miami. He will hit the free agent market this winter at the age of 26. I can't recall it's going to happen with Harper as well, a guy with this kind of resume already, these kind of numbers, to get the chance to cash in like this at that age. He only turned 26 in July. Hard to third. Escobar. Couple of ground ball outs for Zach brings up Bellinger, who has singled and walked. Greinke's really had to work tonight. Has not been especially sharp.
I mean, he's given up 7 hits in the ball game, and most of the 7 were hit right on the button, and some of his outs have been hit extremely hard tonight.
But he's not given up a base hit since Muncie's single with no outs in the third, so he has settled in a bit. He got out of that bases loaded 1-out jam in the third. Stranded Utley at second in the fourth, and now 2 quick outs here in the fifth, so he's settling in just a bit. Big swing and a miss, 65 on the eephus, and Bellinger almost screwed himself into the ground. Ouch. That looked like it hurt.
Was that 65?
Yeah, how about that? Can't drive 65, but I can throw it that fast. Fastball just misses. 80 pitches, only 46 for strikes. Dodger bullpen has been busy all night. Scott Alexander, the left-hander. Escobar and Peralta due up in the bottom half of this inning for the Diamondbacks. Here's a high tapper. Greinke picks it up, gets it to Goldie.
Yeah, I think he got it in foul territory that time. Really nice play, but like when Zach touched it, the ball was on the wrong side of the line there. Oh, nice backhanded glove flip. Wow.
That was like a wishbone quarterback. Well, it backs up what Mike Hazen was saying. You can imagine Zach doing that as a shortstop to start a double play. Little shovel toss to the second baseman, 6-4-3. Jerry Narin, Torey Lovullo. Jerry has been a tremendous sounding board for Torey all year long. Those two have gotten very close. Fastball is low. Bellinger defending on 2 strikes, stays alive. Puig would be next. Pirates have come back to tie the Cubs at 6-6 in the 10th at Wrigley Field. Brewers have already beaten the Cardinals 2-1. That NL Central is going to go right down to the final day. There's the eephus. It gets by Greinke. Ahmed hustles over. They can't get Bellinger, who runs well. Just hit too slowly for Nick.
If Nick can't get him, he can't be gotten. You can't get rid of the ball any quicker than Nick did right there, moving to his right, scooped and threw all in one motion. But as you said, Bellinger runs extremely well down that first base line.
A warm reception for Yasiel Puig, who is 0 for 2. Out of Cienfuegos, Cuba. Yasiel Puig. Puig is having a big month here. He's hitting over .330 in September with 7 home runs. He's had a very good year, Yasiel Puig, even though he's been on the DL twice.
Fastball's a strike.
There have been times this year where he's actually played very much under control. Hit the cutoff man, throw the ball where it's supposed to go, back up bases. And then every now and then he'll airmail one like he did earlier in the ball game, allowing the trail runner to advance 90 feet. But those are becoming less and less common.
He's certainly maturing. He's 27 years old. He'll be 28 in December. Lays off the eephus, but Greinke lands it for a strike, and it's 0-2. Got some help from Mark Rippiger, maybe. Boy, it'd be nice to finish off this season with a series win against the boys in blue. Oh, 2 to Puig. Puig mentioned he was injured this year, missed about 10 games in May, had a bruised hip. Was out 15 games in July with a right oblique strain, but he still put up good numbers this year. Final at Colorado, the Rockies have beaten the Phillies 14-0. So as of this moment, the Dodgers and Rockies are tied for the National League West lead. Eephus is lifted to left center. Peralta calling off AJ, and Greinke is through 5 with a 3-2 lead. Beautiful night at Chase Field, our final home game of the 2018 season. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. We fly to San Diego after the ball game tonight. Off day there tomorrow. We're back at it Friday to finish up the year with 3 games at Petco Park against the Padres. All 3 games for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona. New pitcher for LA, the left-hander Scott Alexander. He's faced exactly 1 batter in each of the first 2 games in this series. He got Escobar to ground out Monday night, and then he came on in the 7th last night, struck out Descalso, and here is Escobar. who will bat from the right-hand side to start the fifth with David Peralta, the on-deck hitter. Tell you what, with the Rockies beating up on the Phillies the way they have, with the D-backs win last night and a chance to win this one tonight, they can really put a big nasty monkey wrench into the Dodgers postseason float parade, and wouldn't that be nice? Chased a high fastball late on the swing, and it's 0-2. Well, considering what the Rockies are doing, this would be 2 big L's for Dave Roberts' ball club.
You got that right.
They just can't afford. And you know it would make Torrey smile.
Well, and nobody likes to admit it when you find yourself in the role of playing spoiler. Obviously, you'd much rather be competing yourself to win the division or win a wild card spot.
By Machado. Escobar, a single to start the fifth.
But short of that, knocking out one of your rivals, keeping them out of the postseason is a very distant second.
They're starting to really enjoy this now. I mean, if the Rockies were losing, it wouldn't matter all that much. It would still impact the Dodgers, obviously. But with the fact that Colorado's just running all over the Phillies, this really starts to make things a little nerve-wracking for Los Angeles. They could find themselves looking up at Colorado at the end of this one tonight. Peralta has struck out and walked. That's a bullet foul right in front of Dave McKay. And look at Bam Bam Balderrama get on that one.
Ooh, we're going to have to show his range. Hey, I got it.
That is Robert Bam Bam Balderrama, our Golden Glover, hustling down the right field line. Rick Roberson working left field. We want to thank all our Golden Glovers who've done another wonderful job all season long. We have some fun with the nicknames once they're approved by Toby, but these guys have done an outstanding job all year long. Toby's been okay. Good crowd here tonight as we cap off the 2018 home season.
We ought to thank Bobby Freeman as well. Bobby keeps the fans entertained. He's the best organist in all of baseball. We like to call him the Billy Preston of the National League West.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Bobby came in here before the game today just to say thanks guys and see you, because we won't see him until over the winter at some point. He's had a lot of fall league games, so I'm sure I'll run into him. But yeah, Bobby keeps the crowd going here. He does a tremendous job. And while we're handing out the thank yous, we want to thank each and every Diamondback viewer out there that wrote Bob and I a letter that we literally have too many to read on the air. We have read all of your letters, we promise. If you could, in fact, I think you have a bag of the letter. We've read every letter in this bag, but we just don't have time to read all of them on the air. So we want to thank you very much for if you're watching at home, and we know you've watched all season long. Thank you so much for writing and with your notes and pictures, and we've had fun with the pens and pencils, and it's been a lot of fun for us to read the viewers' thoughts about the season and the way things have gone.
Sure.
So that's been terrific. So thank you all. Some of the letters have actually been very touching, and some are fun and some are in between, but it's been a good experience. And I know you, because I've seen you personally read every one. You don't have your staff open it and hand you something. You go through every single letter.
Well, my staff can't read, so well, there is that.
And that explains a lot, actually. Goldie on deck.
I got a particular kick out of this one. I have to show this. We talked about Goulardi growing up in Ohio and in Cleveland on Channel 8. They used to have a show on late nights, and the guy would come on and show some kind of a horror movie, a science fiction movie, and blow up model cars and
they still don't get
dance to polka music. And well, a couple of our viewers, Ron Radke and Mark Wright, both sent me the same book, Inside Cleveland TV's Wildest Ride, the Goulardi story. Outstanding. I can't tell you how many memories this brings back.
He would blow stuff up on TV.
Yeah. I mean, he got away with it for a while, and then I think the FCC stepped in and said, let's knock that off.
A terrible example for the youth of Coshocton, Ohio, in the greater Cleveland area. But it worked out in the end. Here's the 3-2 to Peralta. Escobar holds it first, and David chases a sinker. The Indeed player resume, Paul Goldschmidt. And it's been an up and down year for Goldie, but at the end, Bob, the numbers were there. Only player in the major leagues with at least 30 doubles and 19 homers every year since 2012.
Boy, and this particular season for Goldie, it really just makes you wonder if he had even his career normal months, on those months where he really went in the tank early, where might his numbers be now?
He started off the year 3 for 30, picked it up, and then May hit, and it became kind of a virus that went through the whole clubhouse that entire month. And he would go back to May 22nd. That was the date. At the end of play, May 22nd, he was hitting 198 for the year with almost no power, and the results ever since then have been remarkable. He has struck out twice so far tonight. Oh, low fastball. Got the call from Ripperger, did Alexander. Goldie in this series looks like a guy that's gassed. He's 1 for 20 right now, and it's been a long year, and he carries an enormous burden, especially this year considering the way the offense went. But he just looks a little tired right now. It's at the third. It kicks off Turner. Machado won't get there in time, and Goldie's aboard a bullet down to the Red Menace. That just ate him up.
Smoke two-hopper down there to Turner. He tries to play it up into his chest, but instead it hits off the thumb of his mid, off his left thigh, and ricochets over toward Manny Machado. Goldie able to leg it out.
That's a base hit for Goldie. 2 on, 1 out. Here's Brito, who homered in the second. D-backs lead it 3-2, each team with 7 hits. Well, that ball that was hit to Turner, Joey Lavello talks about that type of play all the time because he played a lot of third. You just have an instant and you either make the play or you don't. It's almost in a sense beyond your control, which is odd.
It gets there so quickly. You just really have no reaction time whatsoever. You just have to kind of quickly guess where you think that ball's going to be when it gets to you, and hopefully get your glove in that area.
Brito lays off the sinker. It's 1-1.
Late great Ron Santo. I go back to this line all the time. To be a good third baseman, you need 2 things: a strong chest and a strong arm. Sometimes you just throw a body part in front of it if you can. You just don't have any time to look like a slick fielder down there when the ball is whistling at you as quickly as this one was.
Ouch. And remember, exit velocity is not always about fly balls and line drives. They hit him just as hard on the ground. Alexander's got that good sinker going, 1-2.
Yeah, that ground ball to Turner off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt, 105 miles an hour.
I mean, imagine if you're standing 90 feet away from a guy, he hits a baseball right at you at 105 miles an hour. That's what it's like to play third in the big leagues. Go get him. Ooh, Mark Ripperger got fooled a bit that time, and it's 2-2. Brito is homered and walked. The home run is first of the year. This is only his 34th plate appearance with the Diamondbacks all season. He's off that sinker, up and away, and it's full. A.J. Pollock on deck. He tripled in the second.
As impressive as that home run by Brito back in the second inning was, I was equally impressed by his walk against Pedro Baez. You know, this is a guy that has a reputation of being a free swinger, but he laid off some tough pitches and took the base on balls.
Up there against a tough lefty right here, and gets caught looking at that sinker up. Second strikeout for Alexander, and here comes A.J. Well, 2 on and 2 out. Looks like Dave Roberts is going to let Pollock face the lefty. A.J. has tripled, scored, and flied out to center. He likes the matchup. Every player on the Dodgers 40-man roster is available and in uniform tonight. Lots of choices. So A.J.'s now hit safely in 5 straight with that triple. He's homered twice over that stretch. 4 hits in this series. He homered here Monday. Drives it to center. Backs up Bellinger. It's gone. For A.J. Pollock, that's a career high.
Oh boy, barreled that one up, belt high out over the plate. The only question, would it hit the batter's eye or sneak up onto the home run porch? And fortunately sneaks up onto that home run porch. Yippee-i-yo.
Oh, I forgot my taco pillow.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we have that, and we got that in the mail, too. 6-2. Well, they shouldn't have let the lefty face A.J. We'll take a break. D-backs with 3 in the second, 3 here in the 6th. They lead the Dodgers 6-2. New pitcher for Los Angeles, the right-hander Yimi Garcia, who was out for a long time with right forearm inflammation. This came off the DL about a month ago. Nick Ahmed, who doubled and scored in the second, is the hitter. A big 3-run, 2-out homer from AJ, his 21st. There was a lot mentioned about Torey Lovullo's lineup in the opener here Monday. After the D-backs were eliminated, there was no Goldie, no Peralta. They got mental health days, and they were badly needed. And I think if this holds at the end of this series, Buddy Black is going to be more than happy with what Torey's put together here. His Rockies have already beaten Philadelphia 14-0. One thing this series has shown, and I think you can say the same for the 4-game series at Dodger Stadium earlier this month, even though the Diamondbacks lost 3 heartbreakers, is that one thing that really gives you encouragement moving forward is they play these guys really tough. Forget about the division championships and the payroll and all that stuff. The Diamondbacks compete against these guys, and more often than not, they certainly hold their own. I think that's a lot to be excited about moving forward. Oh, he went, says Doug Eddings. Ahmed strikes out, but Pollock with a 3-run homer, his 21st. Opens things up, and through 5, the D-backs lead the Dodgers 6-2. 6-2 D-backs. Yasmani Grandal leads off the 6th against Zach Greinke. Grandal doubled and scored in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. He's got 4 hits in the series. Greinke's spot in the batting order is due up 2nd in the bottom half of this inning. He's about to throw pitch number 90. So this might be it for Zach. If he can get through 6 holding a 6-2 lead, turn it over to the bullpen. And there is some action down there for Torey Lovullo. Shift is on against Grandal. They are down, I'm guessing down some guys tonight. A lot of those guys have worked a lot lately, so we'll see who gets up and who does not. Got the off day, of course, tomorrow. Used a bunch of guys last night. Scherfy, Bracho, Ziegler, Lopez, Boxberger. Ziegler's pitched a whole bunch lately. Yoshi's pitched a lot lately. We'll see. That's out of play, 2-2.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to endanger anybody physically, but you got a whole bunch of off days coming up starting Monday, so I'm sure some of those guys would like to get into this ball game.
Lopez again. Lopez has pitched just about every other day for a while now. He's checking that right now. Okay, who's coming up? Who do I got? What's the matchup say? Who's tired? Who's healthy? Who's rested? A lot to think about. He got him on a high fastball. That's 5 strikeouts for Greinke, so he's 2 shy of 200 for the year.
Well, Grandal's been a thorn in the Diamondbacks side all season long. He dotted that outside corner with that first fastball, then just keeps nibbling away at that corner out there at the knees on the outside corner. Finally elevates a fastball at 90 and gets a swing and a miss. Our nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
There's Chris Taylor, who leads the league in strikeouts. He's already punched out twice. I don't know if Zach cares about such things, but if this is his final inning, he's 2 strikeouts away from 200 for the year. He needs to punch out both these guys, get the side, and then would likely be done. The bullpen is busy. Greinke came in 7 punch outs shy of 200 for the year. It would be the 7th time in his career he's reached 200 strikeouts. Ziegler is up in the bullpen. He threw 8 pitches in the ball game last night, through 17 Monday. 1-1 on Chris Taylor. Won't get a strikeout here. Escobar in front of Ahmed. 2 outs. Well, Greinke really labored in the 1st and the 2nd. Dodgers scored 1 run in each of those 2 innings, and then the first 2 batters in the 3rd singled. But since then, Greinke has given up only 1 hit. Verdugo hits for the pitcher Garcia. Verdugo struck out against Yohan Lopez as a pinch hitter last night. Flied out in his only at bat Monday. And this is a guy who is only 22, figures to be a big part of their future down the road. Ryan Madson was warming up earlier in the ball game. They've just hit for the pitcher, or they're doing that right now. Fastball's a strike. 1-2. Just got a piece of the ephus at 66. Really labored in that first. 3 consecutive 2-out singles. Left the bases loaded with 1 out in the 3rd. And since then has been locked in. Here we go. Beat LA. He got Verdugo. 6 strikeouts for Greinke. He leads it 6-2. You can receive 15% off at the Chase Field Team Shop when you use the card by Gila River Casinos. There is our bat boy Charlie, who tonight is working his final game after 8.5 years. He has done a tremendous job here for nearly a decade, and this is Charlie's final game, and so we want to wish him all the best and say congratulations on a job very well done.
Nice going, Charlie. Atta baby.
Jeff Mathis leads off the bottom of the 6th against the new pitcher Ryan Madsen for LA.
Pretty sure in his 8 years plus here, Charlie learned some new words down there.
I was going to say, if you're down there, you've been a bat boy for 8.5 years. You know where a few bodies are buried.
Oh yeah.
He's been down there in the thick of all of it. He's had a great seat for D-backs baseball the last 8.5. Little shy. John Jay is on deck, so that's it for Greinke. Here's the numbers on the veteran Ryan Madsen. So Greinke will finish the season with 199 strikeouts. One shy of 200. Well, Madsen's always had that good changeup. He gets Mathis to start the 6th. So Jay hits for Greinke. John Jay, 271. He's got 3 homers. John singled and scored a run in last night's ball game. Got the start in right field. Came home on that big 2-out 2-run double by Peralta in the 6th. Trying the curveball upstairs, 1-0. Jake Diekman in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Looks like Diekman will get to 7. We've got a couple of lefties coming up in Peterson and Muncy, with Turner sandwiched in between. 1-1. Torey Lovullo trying to get his ball club to 3 over 500 with 3 to play. A win tonight would make them 81 and 78 on the year. And it would knock the Dodgers out of first place in the National League West. There he is going over the matchups with Mike Butcher. When you're doing that, Bob, good shot there of Torey and Mike Butcher. Are you saying, okay, I want this guy to face this and that guy, then I want this guy to face him and him, but he might pinch hit for that guy, so I need this guy ready too?
I mean, there's a lot of ifs, ands. Yeah, I mean, you have to look at not only the guys that are in the lineup and are scheduled to hit, but who's on the bench. And just about everybody in the Dodgers organization is in uniform on that first base side as Madsen strikes out John Jay for the second out of the inning. Well, you've got all your matchups. You know which relievers do well against which Dodger hitters and which matchups you want to get, which matchups you want to avoid. But once you get out there and start pushing buttons and guys are running in and out and coming in from the bullpen and pinch hitters coming off the bench, sometimes the best laid plans can just go by the wayside. But you always have to have a plan.
Dave Roberts is on the other side with his bench coach Bob Guerin doing the same thing. Madsen lands the curveball for a strike on Marte, who bats leadoff tonight. There they are.
There's probably guys in that first base dugout that Dave Roberts hasn't met yet.
I'm sure that's the case. This is dropped into left center for a base hit. Marte in the leadoff spot sees an opening and he sneaks into second safely, just barely. Looks like Bellinger dropped it out there.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I'm really looking forward to watching moving forward is Ketel Marte sliding into bases. This is a pretty hook slide to the inside of the base this time. Running hard out of the batter's box, and when Bellinger looked up, didn't field the ball cleanly. Marte slides into second with that hook slide underneath the tag. That's
a single and an E8. The error on Bellinger puts Marte at second with 2 outs for Escobar. And Eduardo singled and scored his last time up. I tell you what, the Dodgers are in trouble. They are in real trouble. If this doesn't change, they'll be in second in the division, a half game behind Colorado, which plays 3 games at home. They have 4 more left, I should say. 1 more against the Phillies, and then 3 more at home against Washington. Nationals have nothing to play for. And the Dodgers have to go to San Francisco and play their arch rival Giants. They got this surrounded, and Bellinger gets under it. We played 6. It's 6-2 Diamondbacks. view from the home run porch. That's one of the best seats in baseball. You are out over the field of play. And of course, you're up there, Friday's front row grill, everything. A great night to be at the ballpark. This October, hockey and basketball back on Fox Sports Arizona, October 4th. The Coyotes are back there at Dallas. And then the 6th, their home opener in Glendale against the Ducks. A 1-hour pregame show to start that one at 5 o'clock. And on October 17th, it's the Phoenix Suns. Their home opener against the Mavericks at 7. Gets all the action all seasons long right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Jake Diekman, the left-hander, on to start the 7th. And Kike Hernandez will hit for Jock Peterson.
Here we go.
Yep. They get the lefty bat out of there, and Hernandez gets in against Diekman. 242, 21 home runs. He had a couple of hits last night, drove in a run, scored a run. Just got a nice visit from the lovely Mike and Vanessa, who stopped by to say good luck and thanks for everything. And you and I have been over this a number of times and told this to them off the air, and we'll say it on the air now. You and I go to every ballpark in the big leagues. And some of the people that do the job that Mike and Vanessa do, frankly, they just drive you nuts. But those guys are the best. It's always friendly, it's warm, it's inviting, it just doesn't get on your nerves, and they do a tremendous job getting the crowd ready and engaged throughout the ball game here. I want to thank Mike and Vanessa for another great season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the fans at home, you might get to see Mike and Vanessa a little bit between innings, but even after they do their stuff down on field level, they're walking through the crowd, talking to fans, posing for pictures, signing autographs. They're famous, and they're really good at what they do.
They sure are. So is Justin Turner. He singled in the 3rd against Greinke, 1 for 3 tonight. We're just making that point about the Dodgers earlier. What do you make of that? They might be in second in the division when they leave here, and then they got to go play the Giants, and you know all about that rivalry.
Oh yeah, I mean, Madison Bumgarner has to get bumped back so he could pitch against the Dodgers in this final weekend.
And he wanted that too, by all accounts.
Oh,
he
yeah.
went into Bochy's office and said, I want to pitch against those guys. And so they've got some work to do here, LA.
We showed you the clip the other day about the Giants knocking the Dodgers out of the playoffs back in 1982, and it sure felt like we won something, even though we were in 3rd place in the division.
And the Rockies will be at home. One more against the Phillies. They've already run all over Philadelphia in the first 3 games of that series, and then they get the Nationals, who have nothing to play for. And Colorado will be very much in the driver's seat. But these guys are dangerous. You certainly can never count them out. '97 caught the corner, and it's full on Turner. 3-2. Diekman put that in a great spot. Turner doesn't like it. Here comes the heater. Punches it down the line. Foul. Then you look at what's happening in the National League Central, where the Cardinals lost again at home to Milwaukee. The Brewers have clinched at least a wild card spot. The Cubs came back and beat Pittsburgh 7-6 at Wrigley Field, so Milwaukee's still right on Chicago's heels. Both the Cubs and the Brewers have clinched postseason spots. They're just waiting to see who wins the division and who hosts the wild card game.
That Cubs Pirates game, Albert Almora Jr. with a walk-off RBI single in the 10th over the Pirates.
And in the meantime, right now it's the Rockies who hold that second wild card for the moment. But they could be leading the division by the time this game ends.
it's an old cliche. The baseball season is a marathon, not a sprint. But at this point of the season, it is a dead sprint with no oxygen, as hard as you can push yourself.
Turner really battling here. Diekman trying to get him with fastballs away, keeps knocking him down the right field line, foul. Think about how far this guy has come. We've talked about that before with Justin Turner. He was a utility player, acquired from the Mets just to sort of be a bench guy, a right-hand bat off the bench and fill in at different infield spots. He's turned in to one of the best hitters in the league. There's a fly ball to Brito in right. Muncy 2 for 3, and they will let Muncy face the lefty after they hit for Peterson. Muncy's about a .260 hitter versus lefties this year, which is right at his season average overall, and they'll put the overshift on against him.
I'm sure Dave Roberts wants to keep some of his left-handed bats in the lineup. I mean, Jake Diekman and Andrew Chafin, the only two lefties the Diamondbacks have out of the bullpen, so there's a chance they're going to see some right-handers in the final couple innings of this ball game, and Dave Roberts wants to leave some of his left-handed bats in that lineup.
Yeah, we're without TJ McFarland, who's down for the year with that inflammation. Well, you heard Mike Hazen say earlier, tell us here that the bullpen is going to be one of the priorities this offseason. Fastball is a strike.
Well, most baseball people will tell you that that's the easiest area to retool. There's going to be relief pitchers out there available this offseason.
Well, that's, I think, been one of the keys for Bob Melvin in Oakland. They put together a scrap heap bullpen that's done a tremendous job for the Athletics. A's winning again tonight. They lead at Seattle 8-3. They're going to win close to 100 games in Oakland. Escobar, the only guy over there. Diekman comes on a 1-2-3 7th. We stretch at 6-2 D-backs.
Bottom of the 7th. Hopefully you all stretched out there at home. The day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Well, the D-backs a chance to close out the home schedule in 2018 with a series win over the Dodgers and really put a monkey wrench into the LA postseason plans. Here's the lefty Caleb Ferguson, who worked an inning in Monday's series opener on to face David Peralta to start the home half of the 7th inning. Rockies have beaten the Phillies 14-0. Kike Hernandez, who hit for Jock Peterson, takes over in left field. Peralta. That is number 30. For the freight train, it's 7-2. That's got to feel good.
Oh, that has to feel good. I mean, that ball is absolutely murdered. You don't see David Pose at home plate very often, but on number 30, that went way over the RamTrucks.com pool out there. Why not?
Here's Goldie. Free jumbo jack tomorrow at Jack in the Box with a purchase of a large drink. They're into it here now.
That came off of David's bat at 109 miles an hour, went 449 feet.
Wow. That is Peralta's 8th home run this year against a left-hand pitcher. Goldie singled and scored in the 5th. Late on a fastball, it's 1-2. 449.
And it was high in the air. To go that far, as high as that ball was hit, he really clubbed it.
Good for him. That's great to see. Goldie gets one out there, right center. Bellinger's got it. Nice running, sliding grab by Cody Bellinger, just shy of the pool.
He picked the wrong center fielder to try to split that gap. Cody Bellinger off like a shot, right to the spot, makes a nice sliding catch there, taking extra bases away from Goldie.
And here's Brito, who homered in the 2nd. A little squib shot to 3rd for Turner. 2 down. AJ had the hit that broke it open against Scott Alexander. He was up there with 2 on and 2 out. Dave Roberts left the left-hander in there to face Pollock. Alexander and AJ hit it out for a 3-run shot that made it 6-2.
And the way Dave Roberts has pulled his pitchers in and out of the ball game in this series, he's going to have to answer some questions after the ball game about that one.
That made no sense at all, unless there was some number he has that we're not aware of.
Yeah,
he must have liked the matchup, but it blew up. LA has 3 infielders on the left side against AJ. The home run is 21st, a new career high. Wanted to check on the curveball, couldn't. This was AJ, 2 on, 2 outs in the 5th.
How about pure contact that time?
That reaction from Alexander too.
just one more note on that David Peralta home run, his 30th of the season. We keep track of everything nowadays, and a hard hit ball is considered 95 miles per hour or better exit velocity. 198 times this year David Peralta's had a hit or had put a ball in play at 95 miles an hour or better. That's 12th in the majors.
Short hop backhander by Turner. David Peralta, a 30 home run season at 7-2. A young D-back fan. His 30th has made it 7-2. 2019 season tickets on sale right now. You can choose a full, a half, a series, a weekend season ticket plan, and guarantee your seats for next year's games against the Red Sox and the Yankees. Log on to dbacks.com. Brad Ziegler on to start the 8th against Manny Machado. I was talking, Bob, with one of your staff members earlier today when they weren't bogged down with various assignments, and we're so used to David Peralta being a tremendous offensive force here, and never more so than this year, that it's easy to forget that story and just the very picture of perseverance. 2 seasons of rookie ball in the Cardinal system as a pitcher, 2 shoulder operations. They let him go. Goes home to Venezuela, off the grid for 4 years, comes back to the U.S. as a hitter in independent ball. He was playing for the Rio Grande Valley White Wings in the North American League, a league that, by the way, no longer exists. Sleeping on an air mattress with 5 other guys, making about $1,000 a month. There's Marte at second, and they retire Machado. Peralta was a Wichita wingnut. Chris Carminucci found him in the independent leagues at Amarillo. They signed him. He played a half season at Visalia. The next year he was a major leaguer, and now he's a 30 home run man in the big leagues. What a story.
It really is an amazing story of perseverance and just grinding. That's a word we use a lot in the game of baseball, but it really applies in David Peralta's case. He refused to give up.
A tremendous support system with his wife Jordan, their families. There's Bellinger. Jody has more on David Peralta.
And guys, you know, I think we're really seeing his talent, you know, play out with him being healthy. We know that wrist and the arm, he had some injuries, and he always said if that wrist was strong, if he was healthy, he could put up these kind of numbers. And like so many ball players, you know, you hear that, and it's a matter of doing it, though, and he's certainly done it this season.
And I think a lot of it, and we kind of joke about things like spin rate and launch angle and exit velocity. But it's made a big difference with David Peralta. He raised his launch angle about 3 degrees, not that big a deal. He went from about 4 to 7. But when you look at the power numbers and what a difference it's made, he's about doubled his home run total. And Ketel Marte could be the next guy that does that. If he could get the ball off the ground a little bit more. We've seen his power. So he might be able to follow that same blueprint next year.
Yeah, and the thing for me about David Peralta, watching him this season and the way he's grown as an offensive player, is he rarely has a bad at bat. You don't see David chasing a lot of bad pitches. You don't see him taking fastballs right down the middle in 2-strike counts. He is a very accomplished hitter.
And he's been their most consistent hitter since opening day. Even if he has a few bad games, it's never more than 3 or 4. He bounces right back with a 3-for-4 game. There's Puig 0-for-3. I think we're just so used to him now being a building block of this organization, we forget about occasionally his journey and what a story it's been. And Puig is not happy with Mark Ripperger. Line to right center. AJ's got it. D-backs looking at a series win. They lead at 7-2.
Well, looky here, Steve and Bob. Guess what? We've brought out the heavy artillery for our final home post-game show of the year. Lots to talk about. So we brought Brandon Webb and Mark Grace. And guys, of course, that means that our magic number to clinch is 1. Any combination of post-game shows at home totaling 1, and we're done. So why don't you let everybody? Give me the pitcher wave. Give me the pitcher wave. Oh, I love it when he does that. We'll see you right after the game. Diamondbacks Live, our final home edition coming up.
Our blowout the budget coverage. Here is the switch pitcher, Pat Venditti, as he will throw both with his right arm and his left. Nick Ahmed will start us off.
D-backs have out hit the Dodgers 10-8. They've got 3 homers. They lead at 7-2. Rockies have beaten the Phillies 14-0. So that combined with this Dodger loss would knock LA out of the National League West lead. Colorado would be up by a half game in the division. Nick had a big RBI double in the second. There's that slider, 2-2 on Ahmed.
A little bit reminiscent of the Brad Ziegler slider, that flat, stays on one plane, sweeps all the way across the strike zone.
Well, Nick has worked it full, 3-2 with Mathis on deck, pitcher spot behind him. I want to thank all of our camera crew while they're here. There's David. Of course, the great Mickey Wheeler, who is down there right in the front lines night after night. Joe West's favorite cameraman. Ahmed works a walk. These are the folks that are here very early and work so hard to bring you all these great Diamondback games on Fox Sports Arizona. The great Kevin Kellogg. There's Kev. Hey, Kev. And of course, our meteorologist, the one and only Ralph Kelso. Thanks, Ralphie. There's Jimmy down there. Watch out.
Best in the business.
Those guys are dodging foul balls and bully umpires all year long. Don't forget Toby out there. Toby, our nicknames are. The great Toby Finch. You guys are here early, you're here late. We want to thank all of you for all your tremendous work over the course of this year. This is Emmy Award winning coverage. There's Eric Siekman. Eric. Look, he's locked in. You can't phase these guys.
No, not at all. We've seen foul balls go whistling into the pit. And
now that's Jared Richardson nodding up and down, operating our RoboCam. He and Don Shea Brown do a tremendous job with the Robo. There's that slider again, just missed off the plate, 2-1. Stop at third. And they're able to turn the double play. Justin Turner. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's a really nice play. Tough backhanded play. Spins all the way around. Chris Taylor with a real nice turn at second with Nick Ahmed right on top of him, able to turn that double play.
Well, here's the pitcher's spot. Looks like we'll get a look at Ildemaro Vargas. And there's the great Garrett Savage. Now Garrett he runs all over the ballpark, runs out onto the field. He gets all those fan shots, all the shots of the pitchers walking out to the mound. So Garrett, he must run 10-12 miles a night.
Easy.
And he's lugging that heavy camera equipment around with him. So our many thanks to Garrett for his outstanding work. Ildemaro Vargas, the switch hitter, bats right-handed. Vargas, of course, had one of the biggest hits of the ball game last night, that huge pinch hit RBI single in the 7th inning that gave the D-backs the lead for a while. Big spot for Vargas, and he came through, knocked it into left center field. And we want to thank, of course, Judd Mazur's not here. Holly, who's been here every night since the beginning of D-backs baseball. Holly's not here with us. Judd is off tonight. We want to thank both of those guys. And all our thanks, of course, to the folks at Fox Arizona. Mike Conley, Ron Grolnick. There's Zacher up in our booth. Puig toward the line, and he's got it. We hit the ninth. The great Dennis Lamb, star of the Dennis Lamb Show. We'll look to get the final 3 outs of our home season in 2018. His 74th appearance of the year. D-backs with a win will improve to 81 and 78, 3 over 500 or 3 to play, so they assure themselves of at least a 500 season. But you know, Torrevella wants to win certainly more than 1 in San Diego. Patrick Corbin will be on the mound for the series opener against the Padres Friday at Petco Park. All 3 games for you right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Yasmani Grandal leads it off. The Dodgers will have come into Chase Field for the final time this year, leading the National League West. They will leave in 2nd place.
Love it.
Rockies beat the Phillies 14-0. D-backs have knocked the Dodgers out of the division lead. LA has tomorrow off. They finish with 3 at San Francisco against their arch rival Giants starting on Friday. The Rockies play the Phillies at home tomorrow. Then they're at home for 3 against Washington starting on Friday. So it's Colorado, which is in the driver's seat. The Rockies in their history have never won the division. Into the shift. Marte. One down. Gracie, Webby, and Todd standing by. A extravaganza, really, the final D-backs Live post-game show of the season from here at the ballpark. Andrew Tolles will hit for Taylor. Andrew Tolles, .214 on the year, only 30 plate appearances for LA this season. Spent most of the year in the minors. Archie's ahead 0-2. Left center, Ahmed's out there. Peralta coming in. David's got it. 2 outs.
Boy, when Archie's feeling it out there on the mound, he doesn't mess around with any secondary stuff. Just fastball after fastball. 3 in a row to Andrew Tolles. 96, 97, 96. It's that easy pop up into shallow left for the second out here in the 9th. Our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game.
I can't imagine a better way for Archie Bradley to end this season than getting out Matt Kemp. Kemp will hit for the pitcher. Up the middle, and it rolls into center field. A 2-out single. And Kike Hernandez will be the hitter. D-backs looking for their first series win since August 22nd, when they took both games against the Angels here at Chase Field. They will finish the season 11-8 against Los Angeles. And they'll take that into next year. Oh, 0-2. Good crowd tonight. No chance to get to the postseason, but the fans are here and they want to beat LA. The 0-2 from Archie Bradley. Lays off the curveball. 2-2. Turner on deck. Got him. D-backs close the 2018 home season by knocking the Dodgers out of the division lead.
It's got a nice ring to it. Not quite as nice as Diamondbacks Western Division champs, but if that's all you've got left to play for, why not knock the Dodgers out of it?
Colorado beats the Phillies. D-backs beat the Dodgers. The Rockies have a half-game lead atop the National League West. D-backs win this one and they take 2 of 3. Back with much more after this.